Hello everyone, my name is Kid Lee, and let's talk about this new gearing system. For those who didn't hear the news, SWTOR did in fact announce the next expansion. It is going to be called Onslaught. And as part of that, they're going to be completely redoing the entire gearing system in SWTOR. Frankly, I thought this was a bit of a shock. I thought this expansion was going to be, pretty normal. It's like, here's your level cap increase, here's your new planets, that kind of stuff. But then they said, oh yeah, we're redoing the entire gearing system as well. So let's actually go through this for anybody who didn't hear the news. I'm actually going to start out with a couple of dev quotes. So Eric Musco said, everything you know about items in Old Republic is going to change. We want to make sure you have as much customization as possible. New sets, new items, more loot everywhere. Now, the first example that he gave was, he said, let's say Eric, Charles, and Keith were all in a group and you were all running Arsenal Mercs. It is going to be possible with this new system that all three of them, again, Arsenal Mercs, can be completely different. In addition to that, there's no longer going to be just one set. There are going to be multiple sets. So an example they gave was if you use an Inquisitor or a Sork as an example, they said that there would be a Sork set, an Inquisitor set, and even a generic set. An additional example would be for a generic set, instead of having combat bonuses, it may actually have bonuses to stuff like crafting and harvesting, which I thought was really, really interesting. It seems to me that they may have borrowed a bunch of ideas right from Anthem regarding this. And then they also said that you're going to be able to mix and match sets for bonuses as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, in addition to that part of it, they're also introducing another new system, which they are calling tactical items. These are going to be a new item slot, and it's going to be designed to change how you actually play a class. Ability customization can actually change your rotation. Now, if we go back to that Arsenal Merc example, if you're an Arsenal Merc right now, everybody has the same rotation, right? Well, with this new system, you'll actually be able to take abilities you love and actually make a build around them. And that's actually a dev quote right there. Now, the example they used at the actual cantina was, let's say, Lightning Sork and Chain Lightning. You can actually change the way that Chain Lightning works. Example A would be it no longer bounces from enemy to enemy, but instead does massive damage to one target. Or you could say, no, I don't want that. I want Chain Lightning to do what it's supposed to do. Lots of AoE, so you could, in theory, take option B, so it'll actually jump to double the targets, and it does double damage. So their basic idea, as we currently understand it, is they're going to take every ability in the game, or most every ability in the game, and you're going to be able to have multiple spec options for each of those abilities, which is a really, really cool idea. And then they basically went on to say that when it came to BioWare themselves, that they were going to unveil more information about this system at a later date, and then what they actually said at the cantina was nowhere near everything that they have plans for, this particular system. But no, I just think this is very, very interesting. I didn't think we'd ever see a system quite like this in SWTOR. I think it's going to make everything better. I mean, I honestly think that this is one of the biggest changes we've seen to this game in a long time. As I mentioned before, I think they're probably nicking ideas from Anthem and a few other games out there. Because one of the big things that I've said about this game for a long time is I think loot is boring, and they needed to do something to loot to make it more interesting, and in doing so, it would make the game more fun to play, and you'd have more customization options, so forth and so on. So what I want to do here real quick is I'm going to jump into Anthem here real quick, and for those who are unfamiliar, I want to show you how Anthem does their sort of loot and/or progression system. Here on the screen, we have the Interceptor Javelin. Now, the way that Anthem does it, it's kind of broken down into these areas where we've got assault system, weapons, support system, strike system, and components. The assault system, support system, and strike system, these are your actual abilities. So you can come under here and you can see there's actually a number of abilities that you can choose from under those 3 different sections. So if we come up here to this one, you'll see that it has a damage, a recharge, and then an effect of some description. Down below is the interesting thing that we're looking at, these substats. So on this one, you see that it says 10% damage increase on E, 18 to shotgun ammo, 8 to marksman rifle. This one is 2 to overall damage, 13 to machine pistol damage. If we back out and we go to weapons, and we take a look at this one as an example, you see this one actually does have that 25 to harvest bonus along with crit and weapon damage and some other stuff. So this is partially what I'm talking about. And then if we back all the way out, we also have this component area. And this is an area that you can completely customize based on how you want to play your Javelin. In this case, I could say, okay, I want my Interceptor to be very melee based. And so you would want to pick components that are melee based. And again, you can see that the components also have those substats. But I can click on these and you can see I can choose from all of these to try and customize the way that this character actually works. And again, kind of think about this in SWTOR terms, right? And if I take a look at blade inscription, again, you can see 6% resupply drop, 5% magazine weapon size. Now, here's where the big difference is going to be. And that is, in this game, when you're trying to gear this Interceptor out, whether it's the weapons, the abilities, or these components, all of these stats are random. So if I want a blade inscription with the right substats, I have to keep grinding it out or crafting it until I get the one that I want. And this is where I think SWTOR is actually going to be doing a little bit better of a job. So yes, I actually think that SWTOR is going to be doing it better than Anthem, which is kind of funny. But because they keep talking about these slots that are going to be in the gearing. And so instead of it being a random thing like it is in Anthem, in SWTOR, we're actually going to be able to put it in there exactly how we want. You know, given the example that I had earlier with the lightning sork, we'll be able to say, okay, you know, I want chain lightning to do this, and I slot it in there. Or I want tracer missile to do this, or I want whirlwind to do this, so forth and so on. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of what I've been kind of talking about. It's going to be very, very interesting to see exactly how these tactical items work. You know, is it just going to be one tactical item per piece of gear? Is it going to be more than one? Are they going to have like a progression system where like when you're doing 1 to 50 content, it might only have one, but when you get into end game, it'll be 2, 3, 4 slots per piece? Or, you know, exactly how are they going to do it? Again, kind of like what I was showing with Anthem there on how you have sort of the main items and the sub items and how you can kind of swap them in and out to, you know, make your javelins, or in SWTOR's case, make your tune or your class sort of unique to everybody else and really design it how you want to play. I think that's exactly what they're trying to do in SWTOR, and so it should be very, very interesting, and I can't wait to both see more and hear more about this spoils of war, as they're calling it, new looting and gearing system here in SWTOR. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this, so please leave a comment down below this video. But yep, that'll go ahead and do it. Everybody keep playing, have fun, and we'll see you next time.